lovely Flosstube friends, welcome back to the channel. A very warm welcome to you all. I am here for my August update, although this is a slightly different version of recording because actually this is a live stream that is going to be edited down into a recorded video for those that don't like the lives or couldn't make the live. So slightly different format for this time round, but I would love to always welcome my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back, and a very warm welcomes to the 53 new subscribers to the channel. Thank you for hitting subscribe. If you are sitting here looking at this video and you haven't subscribed already, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a little thumbs up to know that you like it, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell, and then that way you will always be notified of any new content that I load on this channel. And breathe. Welcome to the stitching live update, although for anyone that's watching this is actually a recorded version. There we go. Right, okay, so now I'm going to tell you exactly what we're here to see. So what have I got to talk about today other than to talk to you? Gillian says, oh T, this is so fun. So what have we got to talk about today? So today I have got whips update. I've got a surprise FFO. Yay! Go me at last, finally. Talk about the live streams, because obviously the live streams seem to be back and rocking and rolling, which is always fabulous. We've got some gorgeous random act of kindness from both Jasmine and also a retreat friend, which I want to share. We've got an incy bincy bit of haul. We've got a bit of news about September and, you know, what's going to happen in September. But before we get to any of that, the one thing that I do need to talk about is I did a giveaway and I posted a giveaway winners recording on the channel for those that had won prizes. I am still waiting for 3 people to come back to me so that they can claim their gifts. So we have got, what have we got? We have got the winner of the Cricket Collection Autumn. I'm going to share, let me share, I need this one. There we go. So we've got this one, which is the Cricket Collection Autumn. And this was Dawn Tom CZYK8267. I have still not heard from you with regards to this one. I'm going to give it until the 16th. So we're going to give it until the 16th of September. If I haven't heard from you by then I will do a redraw. So I'll go back into the existing video and I'll redo the generator all over again and we'll give someone else an opportunity. But I will give them until the 16th to come back to me on that one. So there's that one. There is also the winner of the spring, which is this one. And this one was Annette Duggan number 7. So Annette Duggan, if you reach out to me, then I'll get this in the post. But you've only got until the 16th of September to do so, or I will do a redraw on that one. And then finally, the last one is the autumn. I really like this one. The more I look at this, the more I think, actually, I don't mind this one. So this one's got the pumpkins on it. It's the autumn one. And this was Nanette McDougall Dykes 9339. So if you haven't already, reach out to me and I will get those in the post. If I don't hear from those 3 people by the 16th of September, I will be doing a redraw. So shall we get to the best bit? Let's do the whips, shall we? Whips. So whip update. Not a massive amount, but then there's nothing new there. So where to start? Where do you want to start? Should we start with the FFO first, or shall I do the whips? Let's do the FO first because that's the exciting bit. That's the exciting bit. So for those of you that know, I was stitching on, let me see if I can show it to you and share my screen with you. So I was stitching on this. This is the Shepherd's Bush Gather Moments. And the last time you saw it, I think it was sort of close to a finish, but it wasn't finished. Anyone that's on the live would have had a sneaky peek at this last week because I did actually have it done last week. So let me share with you my finish. Which one's the overhead? This one. There we go. So would you look at that? So this is my gather moments. I am so chuffed with it. It came as a kit from Chris at the Nimble Thimble. So it came with all the threads. It came with the fabric. It came with the box. It came with some wadding, and it came with some backing board. I'll put links to everywhere where I get all of this in the description box below, so that you can go and have a look if you're interested. There is a companion piece for this. It's a Christmas one. And now that I've finished this one, because this is my first official prim finish. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. And now that I've done it and completed it, I'm like, I love it so much. And it's got like little buttons on it. So it's got all of the bits and pieces. I did run out of some of the thread. So I think I put like a call out on one of the videos. Where I said that colour, this colour here that's on the side, I can't remember what it was. I think it was, oh, I don't know. Someone in the chat probably remembers what it is. It was a colour that when I tried to Google it to see if I could just go and find a skein of it myself, I couldn't get my hands on it. But I literally reached out to Chris at Nimble Thimble. She answered me within a couple of hours. I explained the situation. She was like, not a problem, Teresa. Shepherd's Bush will send you like a length of it so that you can finish it. I kid you not. Bearing in mind that this came all the way from the USA, I must have had that thread in less than a week. And it was only like a tiny portion. It was like about this big. It was like that much of it. That was all I needed to get it finished. And they sent it in the post to me. So love, love, love. And it's taking pride of place in my living room. I'm just trying to stop hubby and the kids and those sorts of people from trying to use it as somewhere to put stuff, because they do have a habit of like, oh look, it's a tray or it's a bowl or it's a let's fill it up. Someone did come up with a really good idea of getting some plastic, like hard plastic, and putting it over the top so it protects the stitching, so that way it was all protected, and if anyone did actually use it as a tray, that nothing would be disturbed. But I'm like, well, I didn't do all this stitching for people to put things on top of it. That was not the idea. So because of that, I'm just basically not going to put anything over it and tell everyone that they are not allowed. They are not allowed. I'm refusing anyone to actually use it for a purpose other than the fact that it looks good. Cute. Look, I don't know if there we go. Look how cute that is. It is lovely. So this one was, let's have a little look. So this one was stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen in the colourway natural. Like I say, the kit come from the Nimble Thimble. I started this on the 27th of June 2024 and finished it on the 13th of August. And it was FFO'd on the 14th of August, and it got 4 days of stitching in August. That includes all of the finishing that I did on that. So love my finish. You know when you're like, finally a finish. That was all I needed in my life. But lush, love that. Love that. So that is my finish for August, which is well awaited. Whips. Now, most of you that were on live streams will be aware of what I've stitched on, because most of what I've stitched on has been whilst we've been live. So next up we have the lovely Bella Filipina Magwayen. I done this on a live stream. So here she is. This is what she will look like when she's finished. This is the Teresa made me do it, or part of the Teresa made me do it sale. And I haven't got a picture of where you last saw it, but here is where I got to. Now, I did stitch a bit more on this after we finished on the live stream. So I think I thought I'd kitted this up. I thought I had it completely kitted up. So when I sat down to do the live stream, I was under the impression that all the threads were there. And then literally as I went live and I was looking for everything, I realised that actually I was missing some threads. So there was one specialty thread, which I think was a Karen Karen Water Lily thread, I think it was. And one DMC colour, which was like a Christmas red. So I didn't have that. So I basically done some filling in around this area on the live. And then the threads turned up that I ordered because once I realised the mistake, I went in and started doing, well, you can see there's only half stitches there where I went in a row, and I filled in all of the red. Then whilst I was sitting there stitching on it, I put in some of the, I think it's a petite treasure braid. This stuff, I've got to be honest with you, is hideous. Where's my bag? So I done the live stream on the Saturday night, and I think on the Sunday night was when I sat and done some stitching. And I have to say, people, this thread was horrid. I've never stitched with the DMC, what was it? DMC satin thread before. That was my first experience of it, and I have to be honest, I'm in no rush to do it again. I've got it in a different colour here because I think I've left the green one in the other room. But let me give you an example. So have any of you actually stitched using this DMC satin thread? The satin is vile. It is, you're not wrong there. I can vouch for that. So this is what it looks like. And it's sort of like, see how it's sort of already doing some funky thing there. Like if I give that a little tug, get the end out. I don't want to tug it too much because it's already starting to get into a hot mess here, and that's while it's still raveled up. You see how it's sort of going a bit weird and a bit kinky and a bit strange. That's sort of what it's like when you try and stitch with this. It's not very nice, I'll be honest with you. It's not your nicest friend. It does sort of this, which makes it a bit tricky to play with. However, I was on Nicole's live stream, just listening and stitching while I was doing this, and they gave me some tips because it's like, yeah, you can see what I mean. It's not the most nicest thing to use. So the advice I got was run it through some beeswax, which I did try. And I'll be honest, it didn't really help very much. But what I did was, instead of cutting two strands, threading the needle and trying to work with two separate strands like this, because they kept doing this and they kept sort of sliding past each other, what I did was I took a longer strand, like, so I sort of went like much longer, folded it in half as if I was doing like two strands, like a loop start. But I put my needle in the loop. So I put my needle in the loop so that the two open ends were the hanging bits. They were the bits that I anchored sort of in amongst this bit. And then I found that by having it so that the needle was in the middle of the threads, that like in that shape, it allowed for you to sort of keep the two strands together rather than having them going everywhere. Now you probably can't see because I don't think I've got the camera close enough. I haven't. But these ones here, I did a single strand, which is not going very well at all. Once I got onto this bit and this bit, I'd pulled another length, and that was where I folded it in half, and it was so much more manageable. And it allowed for me to sort of like hold the threads at the same time as pulling it through, so that way at least sort of they laid a little bit nicer. Once I did that, it was actually a lot easier to work with. So I've made a start. I'm not a lover, like I say, of the DMC satin thread. I'll persevere with it because I mean it does. I mean look at the shine on it. It's gorgeous. It's just getting the two strands not to be so slippery and slip past each other as well. So yeah, it was not my finest moment, I'll be honest. But I have sort of found a way around it now. So that is my way around it. So now, from now on, whenever I use this, I will pull a slightly longer length. I would say this stuff is a bit like working with the Cryonic or the Petite Treasure Braid, where you wouldn't necessarily go with a really, really long strand of this, because I don't think it'd hold up very well. So I would go with a medium length, but I would do the double up, where I'd pull it in half. I put my needle in the middle where it folds over on itself, because at least that way, once you pull the needle, both strands go straight and taut, so that way at least you know that they're not slipping past each other. Because yeah, they were bunching up. It wasn't laying nicely. I couldn't get the two strands to stay together. But once I did that, it made all the difference. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should do like a bit of an example. So next time I'm actually stitching on my lovely Magwayen, and I'm going to have to use this very gorgeously shiny but horrible to use thread. If I do like an example of what I did on a video, then it may help some people, because as soon as I did that, it made all the difference. So that was my little show and tell with the thread, but I think I did quite well to get to where I've got to. And considering that I didn't really think that I wanted to stitch, I said I didn't know that I wanted to stitch the ship on this design. I sort of said the Magwayen lady. So where's the Magwayen lady? So here she is. I quite liked her, but at the time I was like, I'm not sure about the ship, because I'm not normally a ship type person. But once I saw these colours, once I saw this, I was like, wow, love that. So yeah, so I'm quite pleased that I accidentally started on the ship and then thought, well, I've already started it now, so I might as well just carry on. So I'm loving the ship. So Magwayen, let me flick you back over. So Magwayen, Bella Filipina, it's stitched on a 28 count even weave Lugana, hand dyed by me. I started this on the 1st of the 1st, 2023, and this got a whole whopping, drum roll please, 1 day of stitching in August. So that was another whip that actually got some love. And then she says, stick that down there. What else did we stitch on? We also stitched on my lovely Afghan. So this has been sort of like a piece that I've been using more for the live streams. Here it is. Actually, let me do it on the overhead. It's easier. So this is the Witchelt Family Farm Afghan. That's what it will look like when it's finished, if it ever gets finished. Like I say, this one has been the one that's been getting all of the love on the live streams. It's really, really great to have it on the live streams because it's so big. So before I show you the actual progress, let me show you. So a lot of people were wondering how I'm managing to cope with this. So I wanted to show it. So what I do is I roll it up like a giant sausage, like this. And then I'm using these, whatever these are. I got these off of Amazon. I'll put a link to them. And I'm using those to sort of keep the bottom up. I have that, which I put on the side. And then it sits on the stand like that. So that way it's not bellowing all over me and it's not all over the place. So now that I've found a way of actually using the material to my advantage, and using what I have to sort of make it a little bit easier to manage, because that is a whole lot of fabric. I mean, it is like a blanket, and it has been summer. So in summer, you don't want a massive, great big load of fabric laying all over your legs. And because I can't stitch in hand, I have to use a Q-snap. I need to have my hands to be able to get up and down, which when you've got all this, it makes it much more tricky. But now I've found a way, she says. So where have we got to? This is where I've got to. So I already had this block done. I've got the block underneath done, which is all folded up here. And then this is the block that we've been stitching on as part of the live streams. I don't think I've done anything more than when I last did a live stream. I don't know whether I want to turn it into a wall hanging like what it is here. I mean, they've done it like a blanket with like a fringed edging. But when I saw it at the Nimble Thimble, they'd actually quilted it and they'd put like a quilt band around all the way around it. So I'm still undecided, but trust me, it's going to take me so long to stitch this. By the time I get to the end of it, I'm rather hoping that I'll have an idea of how I want to finish it by then. When you consider finishing again, think about using the tied quilt type of attaching backing. I'll have to have a little look into that. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm sort of undecided. Still undecided. The only trouble with a quilt is, would you actually use it as a quilt? Because it is sort of like you're stitching. I mean, it would have to go in the wash a lot if it was a quilt. That's how I sort of see it. But we've made a good set of progress on this block here. So on the picture, I'm trying to think where we are on the picture. Where are we? So on the picture, I think we're about there. So I think this block might actually have some birdies or something, whatever that is in this picture. I think that's in this block, possibly. I might be mistaken, but I'm not unhappy with how that's come out. So Family Farm. So this material with its huge great holes, look at that, it's fabulous, isn't it? Is a 14 count fireside fabric stitched using 4 strands of DMC. It was started on the 17th of September 2023 and it's had 4 days worth of stitching in August. So love, love, love. Do you know what? I've never ever considered an Afghan before. Never have I considered an Afghan before. And then all of a sudden when I saw this in the flesh hanging up in a shop, I was like, I have to have myself some of that. It's okay, the dog's messing around now. But absolutely love. Absolutely love. But it is, yeah, it's big. And there's a lot of it. So the whole raveling it up is a thing. But yeah, love. And even though we're not even in winter, I'm still sort of really drawn to it. So the fact that I'm still very drawn to it that's a good thing. That is such a good thing. And it's fabulous for doing live streams, I have to say, because it's not so testing on the eyes. In the evenings, it's great because there's like, you know, it's big holes and it's a lot of blocky stitching. I can just sit there with it on my lap or on a frame, do a few lengths and feel like I've actually achieved something in the evening without sort of thinking, oh, my eyes just physically can't see it anymore. So that was where I got to with that. And then the final project that I actually worked on that is a whip, she says, is the lovely evening in the park. And whilst Mary was here, and it was mentioned on the live stream a number of times, Teresa, you're not doing enough on the evening in the park. It's never going to get finished if you don't stitch on it. Mary forced me. I got forced to work on evening in the park. And I don't think I did too bad at all. I don't think I did too bad at all, people. Look at that. So where was we? So I think I'm trying to remember where it was the last time you saw it. But I've definitely done a lot more this time. So let me put it on the overhead if I can squeeze it on the table here. So evening in the park, for those that haven't heard this like a gazillion times, because this project has been going on for way longer than it should have done. Evening in the park is being stitched on a 25 count even weave in the colourway Abyss, which I believe has been discontinued from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. What else to tell you? Oh yeah, the really embarrassing bit. This was started, would you believe this? This was started on the 28th of December 2016. 8 years ago. This has took me 8 years and we're still not finished. Because I have to be so careful so as not to get anything wrong on it, I have to be very specific about when I actually stitch on it because I can't afford to make a mistake. So where was we last time? So I think last time you saw this, I had that one done. I think I had either most of that done or all of that done. Since then, I've put some more snow in this bit, some more snow in this bit. I've done another lantern here. And all barring this little bit here, I have filled in all of one colour of the gates. They are beautiful to stitch on. All of the lovely threads that you get with these is out. Oh, is such an experience. The specialty stitches, I love doing the specialty stitches. It's just the sheer size of it. And I think with Evening in the Park, because it is the type of project that is equal on all sides, basically it's a repeat, repeat, repeat. By the time you've repeated it twice, it's like, wow, I'm done with the repeating. Are we all proud of me for actually doing this? There's a little portion here that I haven't quite finished. There is a reason, and that is that somehow, I don't know how this happened, I managed to accidentally pull one of the towels out at the back. So I need to get my little snag nabbit to push that back in, and then my plan is that I'm going to push that thread towards the back and then use the last bit of the last strand of this to try and lock it back in at the back is what I'm going to try and do, because yeah, that could easily unravel if I don't. But love, 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 it's getting there. It is a slow and steady. I must admit though, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm getting a bit worried that I committed myself and said I have to have this done by the end of the year. Right, that is what I said. But I'll be honest with you. It's September. It's September, people. I just don't see how this is going to happen. Even if I stitched on this every day, there is still so much stitching to go in this. All of this bit here has not been filled in yet. So that all still needs filling in. This isn't finished, this corner. There's specialty stitches, there's beads. This whole corner's not done. And I've still got everything that needs to go up this side because I haven't completed that. So at the moment, I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea how I'm going to achieve this. I mean, I did sort of say... I did say that actually what I might do is see whether I can get all of the stitching done on this. Let me flick you back over so you can see it. Get all of the stitching done and then go back and do the beads. And I was sort of saying, well, as long as I get all of the stitching done, then as long as that's done by the end of the year, I can worry about the beading afterwards. But I'll be completely honest, I'm not even sure that, excuse me, the bonbons is misbehaving. Bonnie, stop doing that to the bear. You're a girl. She's coming into season, so she's becoming one with the bear. She's having fun, people. She's having fun. But yeah, sorry about that. Slightly distracted. I don't know. I'm sitting there saying I'm not sure it's doable, but it has been summer. I always stitch less in the summer. In the winter, I do a bit more stitching. So, maybe if I just sort of let it go on, you know, the only thing is though, if I do that, the only thing I'll ever show you will be Evening in the Park. You'll never see another project. What scroll frame and size do you have on that? Good question. Let me see. I think, where's my handy dandy? See, I have a new tool right next to me, which is at the moment filled up with stuff, but I'm pretty sure I do have a tape measure in here, so I can measure it for you. She says, aha, I'm good, right? Look at that. Did you see how sharp I am? Let's have a little look. So this is the Millennium frames. Oh, excuse the clicking. Oh, right. So the overall size of the actual scroll bar on this from end to end is 31 inches. But the actual area of stitching that it will hold, I think this is a 20. It's a 27 inch. So this is, I think they class it as not the size from end to end. It's literally the area that the stitching actually, let me show you what I mean. So when we're measuring the scroll bars, someone's asking me what are scroll bars. So the scroll bars is basically the frame that I've got this sat on. So these the two ends, these are the scroll bars. So the ones, the top and bottom, the big long ones are the scroll bars. The ones at the sides here that have got like what actually give you the tension on your stitching, these are your side stretchers. So when people start talking about side stretchers and scroll bars, that's what they're talking about. So these scroll bars, from this end to that end will be one measurement. That's the 31 inches. But from where your stitching will sit, so the area of which your stitching will sit into, that is 27 inches. So on a 25 count, I've got it on a 27-inch scroll bar. And then my side stretchers, I always go with the smallest side stretchers, because I tend to find that if you go with the side stretchers that are bigger, because I sit it on a frame, I end up with my hand at the back, because I stitch two-handed. My hand has to go so far down that it pulls on my shoulder. Whereas if you have only a smaller section with these smaller side stretchers, you never have to stretch. Does that make any sense? Do you bead as you go along on the scroll bars, or does that break them? No. So basically in the scroll bars, the good thing about the scroll bars is the tension. So what I do, she says, is, let me see if I can show you this. So it's harder than it looks to show. Right, so if I take these tensioners off a minute, I'm going to take my side stretchers off. I'm going to make a whole hot mess of it now. So if I take these off, like so. Oh, like this. You will see that where it rolls up on itself. Now, normally, there we go. I will have some felt in there. So this is just your bog standard fleecy felt stuff. Wherever I've got beads, I will put that over the top of the stitching, and then I roll my fabric down over the top, so that when I tension the bars up lower down, at no point do any beads get squashed, because they've got a bit of puffiness and a bit of protection. Basically like putting your stitching into a duvet is the way I see it. So I'm duveting it, so that way if something sat on something in a duvet or under a duvet, because there's enough puffiness, the chances of you breaking it are much slimmer than if you was to just sit on the item. And this is sort of the same way. Plus, once I've got my beads on there, although I do have a fair amount of tension, I don't have it like super drum tight because of the beads. Does that answer your question? Will scroll bars work on any stand? Not necessarily. So as example, the Omnique stands, yes, because they've actually got clamps that hold on. The needle need stands, yes, because you just flip them over. But there are a lot of stands that they have to have their own bars. So I think, as example, the Mark II, is it the Mark II? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember if it's called the Mark II or the Mark IV, as example. They have their own scroll bars, because you have to base the project to some fabric that's attached to the bars, and then that fits in so that you literally just spin your work over. So you would have to, it really depends on what frames you've got. Obviously the needle needs frames have round sections, like side stretchers, which is where your frame would clamp on if it clamps on. The needle needs frame or something similar, where it's just arms that sit out that you sort of flip it over on, you could most definitely use these on. So the difference, have I got, yeah, I've got a set. This is truly live, people, truly live. Okay, so the difference between the Omnique scroll bars and the Maneliums, let me flick you over. So as you can see, this one is the Omnique factory one. It comes with a plastic inner, but it does exactly the same job. The only difference is it takes the corners. I mean, it takes the corners of anything, because it's literally, it's got a holder so that the frame fits in. Let me see if I can do an example here. So if I get my Evening in the Park. Now this scroll bar is an Omnique, because it's the round ones, but it fits in there. So you can most definitely have scroll bars that are omnique, and you can use, scroll bars that are needle needs, but you can use an omnique side stretcher, which is square. But the difference between the two is that omnique always has the square, and the needle needs side stretchers are all wood, all manufactured and handmade. These bits don't come out, or actually they come, but they stop. They don't, you can't pull it out. But the entire thing is made of solid wood, whereas the omnique ones, you've got one fixed end, which is metal attached to the wood, and then the plastic one, this one, it's got metal on the top here, but your plastic turner, which is the one that actually gives you your tension, that is made of plastic. I'm not sure. This feels like metal. I'm not sure whether that's... It feels like metal. But this bit here, the actual tensioner, is made of plastic, but this is metal. So I don't know if that helps for those of you that were wondering about the difference between the omnique and the needle needs. There we go, people. Now that I've just completely destroyed Evening in the Park, and it's going to need to be straightened back up on its frames. So Evening in the Park. So for those of you that are wondering about how you can get your hands on the charts and the kit. So the charts are sold by the Chatelaine company on the internet, but the kits, I don't know whether very many people are aware of it, is that when I get my kit, well, when I got my kits, I used the European cross stitch company. I'm not quite sure where they are. I think they might be in the States. It takes a long time for them to source the threads, because some of the threads are sort of discontinued, and they have to, or they're very hard to get hold of. So when you order it, it's normally really, if you go with the silks, it can be very expensive. You don't have to go with the silks. You can go with DMC alternatives, but it won't look exactly the same. It won't look the same as the picture does. But that's not to say that it won't look lovely, because it can be done. And there's a lot of people that don't use the silks. They use the DMC alternatives. But there are two places that I'm aware of that actually do the full Chatelaine kits. One is the European Cross Stitch Company. Like I say, it's on the internet, and I think it is from the USA. But also, Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies here in the UK, she also kits up the Chatelaines. Although her website doesn't show it, she does actually kit up the Chatelaines. If you reach out to Zarina, send her an email telling her what one it is that you're looking for. Zarina can also kit up the Chatelaine kits for you. So there's that. Like I said, Evening in the Park has been on the go now for 8 years. That's just me. That's because I'm not a monogamous stitcher by any stretch of the imagination, and this one basically only comes out when I know that, you know, I'm left to my own devices and it's nice and quiet and I can truly concentrate. Annette says, what count linen are you stitching Evening in the Park on? So my Evening in the Park is being stitched on a 25 count. So just as an example, let me find you a bit. Now that I've unraveled it anyway, I might as well show you a bit that's got some beads on it. The thing with some of these projects is that although, yes, they would be smaller if you do them on a higher count, the problem that I find is when it comes to doing the beading, the beads don't sit as nicely as I would like them to. And sometimes people will tell you that sort of anything over 28, between 28 and 32, you're starting to struggle as to whether you're going to fit all of the beads in. So let me just flick you over. So as example, so this whole area here is all beads. Now, had I been working on a 32 count, I might have had to do a bit of jiggery pokery with these beads. 28 count is best for the beads. Yep. 28 count for me is too small for the eyes. You're stitching over 2 on a 28 count. but I tend to find that I like the way my beads sit on a 25 count. I've never had to sort of really squash any beads in, but that's just me personally. But I tend to find that I like it so that my beads have just a little bit of wiggle room, just a little gap in between them. I can't exactly lower the camera to get a bit closer. Maybe one of these days I'll do a close-up and personal with my mobile phone. But I tend to find that I like the spacing on a 25 count. Like, who was it that said? Sonia said that 28 count is best for beads. Depends on what design it is and what size beads it is, but she's completely right. 28 count probably is like a perfect fit for most projects that have beads, but I like mine with just a little bit more wiggle room. So mine's a 25 count. Charlotte says 32 count isn't too bad if it's not hand dyed. So yeah, as part of the process of hand dyeing, it shrinks the fabric, which then makes it a bit more tricky. So there we go. So evening in the park, right, drum roll please. I can't remember the last time I told you this. Evening in the park got 7 days worth of stitching in August. Go me. Go me. I feel so excited about the fact that I actually pulled it out and did stitching. But that is all thanks to the lovely Miss Mary Perkins, because she was the one that was just like, just keep stitching it. Keep stitching. Just keep stitching. It was Mary's fault. Mary was the one that sort of made sure that I sat and actually did stitching. What else to tell you? Oh, we've got a whole hot mess to talk about now. A whole hot mess, people. So, as well as having my whips and my FFO, I decided that because I needed a new train project, because this was my train project, which is now done, I needed another train project. And I thought, you know what? There's no time like the present. I might as well start with some of my Christmas stuff. So I decided that it was time to pull out one of my lovely Lila Studios Noel on Rouge. I was having a little look through. I think the last time, so the last one that I stitched as a present for Christmas, I did this one, the Merry Christmas one. So this time I thought, well, I'll do this one because I quite like the look of that one. Yeah. Yay, new start. I know. There's the problem. Now you're probably looking at that going, Teresa, what's going on with your, what's going on with that? Small error happened here, people. So I started in the middle. Okay, so I started with this one. I did this one and sort of did the trees and the grass here and did a little bit along the bottom here. And then I went across here and then I didn't have this bit in. So I decided that I would go and do the outline, which I did do. So the entire outline, I did all the way across here, all the way down to here. And I got to here and I thought, you know what? Something doesn't look quite right now. I was like, there's something not quite right. Charlotte, you're right. It didn't line up. So what I did was I went over to this bit and started stitching him and then realized that the side of the jumper needs to finish next to his arm there. And there was no way that was going to happen because the arm was sort of here. And I'm like, well, there isn't enough room. So then when I've actually thought, well, okay, well, let me go over this side and I'll stitch across here to work out where this side of the jumper needed to go. And that was when I realized that there was a massive problem. So what I've tried to do, so I basically pulled back all of this sleeve all the way down to here, restitched this bit. Now, my original thought was if I carry on stitching up to see where I come to on this bit, and then maybe I can, you know, add and take stitches away that need to come out of there to make it fit. But the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm like, I don't know what I'd do. I'm like, is there a way to fudge this? Is there a way to do it? Because I've already done all this stitching and I'm like, it actually got, so let me tell you. So this is a pain to work on, I'll be honest with you, because this is on a 40 count Newcastle linen, which 40 count for me is a bit hard on the eyes whilst I'm moving on a train. It's in colorway light mocha, and it's all the DMC. So I started it on the 18th of August, and it had 6 days worth of stitching, all in the mornings, train stitching. See, I haven't got time for it to stay in a naughty corner. That's my problem. That is my dilemma. Because at first I was like, well, maybe if there is a way of fudging it or sort of fixing it, even if I don't give it as a gift and I start a new one for a gift, I could fudge this one enough to make it work for me, and then I would have a Christmas finish. But the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, I don't think there's any way without taking all of this out. Who's just said that? Just take out the brown. The middle should be okay. The problem is, because it's on a 40 count, it's really hard to undo it. Yeah, so many people are saying restart. Choose easier fabric and start again. Rosa, I can't, because I done a set of these for the people that I'm actually stitching another set for in this fabric, and I want them to match the ones that I've already done for them. So I don't think there's any way around it. Yeah, we've got a whole hot mess going on. So I'm a bit like, I don't really know what to do with this now. Now that you've all said that, and I mean, yeah. I can't even get to straighten up when I go like this because it's so wonky. I might have to bite the bullet here. I mean, as example, if you look at the back, I mean, the stitches, I mean, this side not too bad. This side, terrible to try and pull out. I did think about getting a seam ripper out, but then I was like, do you know what? I'll probably end up putting a hole in it with the seam ripper if I do that. So, yeah. I was rather hoping that someone would come up with a really exciting, cunning plan of how to fix this, other than pull all of the brown out, because that took a lot of stitching, that bit across there. That was actual hard stitching on the train. This is single strand. So this is one strand of DMC over 2 fabric threads. So I'm still stitching it over 2, but with one strand. It makes it look a little bit more delicate. Liz says, I don't think it's fudgeable. The middle figure doesn't center up with the center of the banner. What, at the top, you mean? The top of the jumper. That was exactly what I was thinking. So yeah, I think it's going to have to be started again, isn't it? See, I knew this was going to happen. I was so excited because I was going to be like, do you know what, guys? I've nearly finished. I've nearly, I've got a new start and I've nearly finished it. And now I've got to stitch it all over again. It's a horrible thought. It's a horrible thought. So that is my whole new start, which is a complete failure and a total hot mess. So yeah, welcome to the Teresa world. What else to tell you? Whip Go. So I was going to show you my Whip Go. So let me pull up Whip Go. So Whip Go, current month, so August month was the number 12 and the number 15. So the number 12 was 5 days on an Afghan, and number 12 was 1 day of organising. The 1 day of organising I did actually manage to do because Mary was coming, so the room needed tidying up and cleaning. So I did all of that and put some stuff away. So thanks to Mary coming, I actually managed to get some bits and pieces done and tick off my Whip Go. The other one, so the Afghan, I would say that was partially completed because I did do 4 of the 5 days on the Afghan. So what I've decided to do is roll 1 day, the 1 day that I didn't get done. And the only reason I didn't get it done was because Mary made me work on Evening in the Park. So I'm just going to add 1 more day to the Afghan for this month, and that will make it so that I've completed August goals on the Whip Go. Next month, so this month, so for the month of September, we got the number 4 and the number 11, which, believe it or not, was 2 days on the Afghan. So I'll just add an extra day for the 1 day of August that I didn't get done. That will complete that. And would you believe it, 4 days on Evening in the Park. It was like the stars are aligned. See, people, it's working. That the Whip Go is working for me. So that's the Whip Go. So the Whip Go I'm sort of on time with and keeping up, which, do you know what? This is the first time that I've got this far into the year and I've managed to sort of stay with it. I think the only thing that I haven't done, so what have I got? I've still got, so from back in April when I went away to Italy, I've still got 5 days outstanding on a full coverage, which I still need to do, which I'm gonna do, but I've always sort of said, well, in the winter I tend to lean more towards my full coverage because I'm all curled up on the sofa. So I'm rather hoping that I'll be able to pull that back throughout the course of probably October, November and December, January. Yeah, it needs to be done by the end of the year. So I need to add 5 days of full coverage. And to be honest, I've been really neglecting my full coverages at the moment. None of my full coverages have been coming out because I've just been going to quick and easy go-to stitching. Right, what else have we got? What else have I got to talk to you about? I might have got myself a little bit of haul, people. Just a little bit. I might have fell down a little rabbit hole when I saw the 12 Days of Christmas stockings by Annie B's folk art. This one. So I couldn't help myself. I decided to buy it. But I've made the decision that I'm not gonna stitch it on a dark fabric like this. I'm gonna stitch them on like a really dark natural, like a dirty linen colour. And then if I need to, I'll tweak the colours of the threads to make it work. But yeah, I think Lynn from the Lancashire Stitcher, I think she's stitching these, but I think she's doing them on the dark colour, on the black. So love. So I've got myself this in the hope that I would have a bit more time for Christmas finishes or Christmas stitching, because I thought this was going to be a breeze and it's not. So yeah, a little bit of a waste of time there. What else to share with you? Right, so whilst Mary was here, would you believe it, the one time that I had someone coming over to stay, my Daylight Company floor lamp stopped working. I know, it stopped working. So I did nothing more than went back to the Daylight Company and ordered a new floor stand. But I didn't order the same one I had last time because they've got a new one called the Electra floor stand. And I was a bit like, well, I don't know whether it's anything like the other one, but I'm like, well, I'll get it. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. Do you know what? It's much more superior. Now, just a FYI, so the Daylight Company, I saw it on there for £130. And I was like, that's a lot of money for a floor stand. So I said to Mary, look at the discount. See if you can find me a discount code. So she found me a discount code. I got it for about £100. However, as part of my search to show you the stand that I'm referring to, I found the same stand at another company called Harkneess UK that are doing it for £95.26 including VAT. So let me share with you on my screen. So this is the Daylight lamp. And this one is different to the one that I had. I had the old version, the silver one. This one comes in a satin black finish, which matches my furniture in my living room fabulously. It also comes in 3 colour temperatures, ranging from the 6K, the 4K and the 2.7K. They're all different temperatures. So therefore you've got a warm light, you've got a cool light, and you've got what's known as a daylight light. It comes with a slim design with rotating shade. Now this is the bit that I really like. So see this bit here along there, that can be moved backwards and forwards. And the other one, I could move the light, but if I moved the light so that it wasn't shining in my eyes, my husband was forever going to me, will you stop shining your light in my eyes? Because as soon as you do this, it sort of basically points the light towards anyone else in the room. And he found that really annoying and really, yeah, he hated it when I put my light on. So this one, when you move this, it moves like a blind. It's almost like blind, so that it stops it from glaring out across the room, which is, yeah, it's a deal breaker. This is the turny and turny offy bit here. And also it's dimmable. So you can rotate that round backwards and forwards and it goes lighter and darker. So I was just like, it is a much more superior light, I must admit. There's some pictures of like how it bends. It bends here and it bends at the top. So it's super universal as well. But yeah, you know when it's just like, I love it. I love my new little light. Where am I? There I am. So I'm loving my new little purchase of my light. I got my mag light from them, which is a daylight company, great company and fast delivery too. Yep, I love that. But I have to have a floor stand because anything that clips onto frames, I've got so many floor stands now. I think it's just started raining, sorry. I've got so many floor stands that there's certain floor stands that the clips with the lights that clip onto it don't work as well for me. I like to have the light directly over the top but not attached to anything. Do you use a small clip light when you are traveling? So yeah, when I'm going to retreats, I'll use a clip light. But when I'm at home, I do like my full floor stand. So I purchased one of those. Also, I don't even know where I saw it, but I was watching some Flosstube videos and people were sort of saying about how they have their storage for different things in different rooms. So I don't often sit and stitch in here, but I can do. I probably should do. I'd get probably more stitching done if I sat here and watched this TV instead of sitting in the living room and being distracted. But I do a bit of stitching here if I'm sitting in the office and I'm working or I'm doing bits and pieces. But the problem is I tend to have like all of my accessories. I've got like these little, where are they? Little notions bags that have got like, they're sort of fully armed, you know, a pair of scissors, snag nabbit, a pen, extra needles, you know. I have it in here. How many times do you go and sit in your stitchy spot in your living room or wherever, like me? All of my actual stitching gets housed here in my office, in my stitchy room. But I more often than not find that I'm stitching in the living room. The amount of times that I think I've got everything I need, I go into sort of sit in the living room with my stitching and then realise actually, you know, you just get the dog settled and I put my feet up and I pull my stitching in. I'll do like one thread of something and I'm like, where's my scissors? And then my scissors are in the bag that I've been good enough to put away. Because being as organised as that sometimes has its own issues. So normally then I'm like, oh, the thought of having to get back off the sofa, move the stand out the way, disturb the girls. I'm like, you know what, just don't bother. I'll just sit and watch TV. So I made the decision after watching some Flosstube videos where people were like, oh, I've got, you know, a place where I have all of my stitching stuff in this room and then I've got it in that room. But I'm like, my husband would go mad if I had much more stuff in the living room. It's bad enough with the stand. So I now have trolleys. So I've got a trolley here. So this one is from, which one was this one? This was my Ikea one. And I've got it colour coded for my room because obviously I've got like yellows and stuff. But this has got like a little horse catcher in there. It's got one of these baggies in there. It's got other bits and pieces in there. It's got a tray in there. It's got beading stuff in there. So I've got everything in this one. And obviously my needle minder is attached to it because this one is a metal one. And these, which are they're the things that I've been using to hold my fabric on around my Q-snaps and stuff. So I bought myself this one for in here. And then what I've done is I've doubled up. So I've got this one in here and then the one that I've got in my living room so that it wasn't such an eyesore, because that's fine in here, but I wouldn't want one of those in my living room, especially like when I've got visitors coming to stay. So the one that I have got is this one in my living room, which sort of matches my furniture. Not exactly, but sort of close. And it's basically a very similar setup. So in this one that I've got in the living room, it's got the same metal, like the black metal, which most of my furniture's got. And I've got all oak furniture. So this works perfectly for my living room setup. So in the living room, I've got exactly the same thing. So I've got needle minders, I've got my little pouches. So that way, wherever I'm sat and I'm stitching, I have something. I have something. Because it was getting to the point that I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere with this. Because every time I sit my butt down, Everything's been put away because I've been super tidy. I love the wood effect. I know. I saw it and was just like, for £45, that's a bargain. And I was like, and that way, all of my stitching is right next to me when I'm sitting there stitching. If I decide to go to the other end of the sofa, not that I would, but if I did decide to go to the other end of the sofa, I can get to it. I don't really like cupboards that much because you tend to find that if you put it in a cupboard, you've still got to get up off your seat and go to the cupboard to go and get whatever it is that you need out of it and sort of rummage through. Whereas with these, you don't need to do that. I can sort of have everything to hand whilst I'm still sat on the sofa. So I've now got 2 of those in the hope that it will make it so that as long as I don't sort of tidy them up too much and I just sort of keep a bit of everything in both of them, no matter where I'm sitting and stitching, I will get lots done. That's where I went with it. There is one small error that I've made whilst I've been doing this live, saying that I'm going to post this as a post video. Charlotte's just worked out what it is. I didn't hit record. I was so excited to make sure that I got everything done and that I told you what I was doing. I didn't hit the record button. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no. Yes, Kerry. Oh no. That's. Oh God. I think I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm gonna have to reach out to Lauren now and work out what we do. I don't know whether there's a way for me to record this and then edit. No, I don't think I can. And Zoe said, we had to sit through 3 intros and they weren't even recorded. I know. Welcome to my world. Right, where was we? The random acts of kindness. Let's get back to the stuff, shall we? I'm not even going to worry about the fact that I haven't pressed the record button. That's just too funny now because, yeah. Let me share with you. So I have got from the lovely Yasmin. She has gifted me. Well, I say gifted. She basically sends me stuff that she doesn't want, and then she says to me, "Have out of it what you want, and if there isn't something there that you want, then by all means give it away." So I'd already given some of the charts away, and she has given these away. Would you look at these? Look at these. I mean, I know I don't use bobbins. But this is the only one that I'm not sure what to do with because it's almost like it is brand new. It looks like it's never been used. I mean, it's got the vinyl. It's got a pocket. And then it's got sort of the one that you put the bobbins in. But none of it's been used. So I didn't know whether I could get away with taking it to the retreat and putting it onto the raffle table as a giveaway because it's so lovely, but I just don't see myself using it because it's got the bobbin thing on it. I think that's what I might have to do because I'm not going to use this one, but it's never been used. You can see it's never been used. But she also gave me, I mean, there's so many of them. It's laughable. So I've got this one, which is right up my street, because it's got the 2 pockets on the inside and then 2 zipped vinyl pockets. These are handmade by Susie. So these are the ones that I get off Susie anyway. But yeah, love. And a lot of people will sit there and say to me, you know, is there a reason that I don't do these, or why I haven't gifted these on the giveaway? The reason for it is these are harder to ship. I actually sent the rest of the giveaway charts in envelopes off to, I think there was quite a few people in Canada. There was a couple in the UK. I kid you not. The postage just for the ones that I've already sent came to nearly £40 just to post charts. So you can imagine how much it would cost to post one of these out to people. Then I've got this one. This one is handmade by Ladybird. This one's slightly different. It's got it's got a little vinyl pouch here. This looks like an Alice in Wonderland fabric. So it's got a vinyl pouch there, another vinyl pouch there, and then another pocket there. And then this side has got like netting. So it's got like a netted pocket here and then smaller pockets here and here. So, but these are the sorts of things that are great for me for my stitching, because these are the sorts of things that I use. Then there's another one with, I think that's still Alice in Wonderland. This one is a Susie bag. So again, it's got the 2 big pockets on the inside and then the 2 vinyl front pockets here. That one with the bobbin, I think I might do it as one of the raffle prizes, because you can see it's never been used. And then I've just got some normal big bags. But yeah, so I would say out of all of those, I think all of these I will keep for me, because I will use these. These will get lots of love and lots of use, because I love the fact that I can get pretty much all of my projects in there. So I can get the chart in there, I can get my threads in there, I can get my stitching in there without actually having to have like what I call the proper bags, which actually take up more space for me. I quite like these wallet type things. But that one there, this one I think is the one that I might use in the raffle at the retreat. And if it wasn't for a case that the actual postage wasn't so extortionate, I probably would have done a giveaway on the channel for this. But because of a lot of people that actually watch the channel that enter the giveaways, I would never sit there and say, I'm sorry, I'm only going to do giveaways for people in the UK. I don't think that's fair. Anyone that watches my channel should be in with a chance of winning something, not based on your location. But obviously for me to try and ship this with the weight that it is, it would just be, I mean, like I say, I mean, the postage for the other charts has cost me over £40. So yeah, I wouldn't even like to imagine how much it would cost me to post one of these out. What else have I got to tell you? So let me just refer back to my notes. I mean, not that it matters now, because the chances of this video actually going up, other than what you're seeing, is looking slimmer and slimmer by the minute. What else to tell you? Oh, also, one of the lovely retreat friends, there was a post that we put on the Essex Needles retreat page saying, you know, it's hard work to do the retreats. Both me and Elaine decided, instead of doing all of the retreats the way we was only going to do 2 retreats a year, one in March and one in September, with an explanation as to why. And the lovely individual done some lovely gifts. She decided that she wanted to surprise us. It was a true surprise, I must admit. Let me pull it up for you. So she done a gift which went into the Essex Needles retreat inbox to say, here's a Haid voucher for you to spend at your leisure. So of course Elaine and I got one each. So my ones of choice, let me share with you my screen. I decided to go with this one. I thought there's no point in me getting another big full coverage, because I'm never ever gonna get to stitching all of the full coverages I've got now. But I'm like, if it was a bit smaller, maybe it's a bit more doable. So I was thinking, if I do ornaments, so I've got the Donna Gelsinger Christmas ornament sleigh ride. I mean, literally, you can see there, it's 9 by 9 inches on 25 count. And the other one was this one. I've seen this one stitched up. It's adorable, and I'm like, I'd love that. I love that one. So that's the Donna Gelsinger ornament, the Enchanted Christmas. And again, that one's a 9 by 9 on a 25 count, which to me seems much more doable and realistic, because yeah, the chances of me doing much more on the full coverages with the ones that I've already got, I'm going to be hard pushed. So September's going to be big, people. So not only have I managed to get a few live streams just recently, I'll be honest, I'll probably get this one in and the one tomorrow without a problem. But then after that, for the rest of the month, I'm not sure you're going to see me. Only because I've got a very busy September. It's my birthday month. So I'm going to use that as the excuse. It's my birthday month. Obviously, this weekend is busy doing lives and busy supposedly doing Flosstube, but we'll see about that. Next weekend, I am at the Essex Needles retreat from Friday to Sunday, so I definitely won't be able to do it there. I am going to try and record some of the stitching in the room if I find time, but the problem with the Essex Needles retreat is because both me and Elaine are the ones that are organising it, we sort of get caught up with sort of the looking after stuff and running stuff. There really isn't that much time to do much stitching, let alone actually recording in the room along with all the other stuff that we do. But I will try. I will see how I get on. So that takes care of next weekend. And then because it's my birthday, there was an impromptu decision that me and my husband are now going to be going off to Spain for 5 days. We booked a villa on Airbnb, flights, a car. Fabulous looking villa. The villa is amazing. It's spectacular. It's a huge, great villa, and I couldn't believe the cost. I was like, no way is it that cheap. But because it was, I'm like, then we're doing it. So I'm swanning off to Spain from the 28th of September through to, I think it's the 3rd or the 4th of October. So I won't be here for that weekend either. So unlikely to get really much done either stitchy wise. I certainly won't be doing any streams or any videos, but I will be having a wonderful September. So yeah, that September took care of. And then everything should really settle down after that. Oh, hello. Hubby has decided that it is officially tipple o'clock, people. And we thought we was going to get away with not having tipples. We're having tipples on Saturday night. So yeah, Essex Needles retreat next weekend. Super excited about that. September is going to be a busy, busy month. There isn't, other than working, there aren't any days that I'm not busy doing stuff. It's my birthday, so yeah, I'm like, well, we won't get away on my birthday, but by the end of that week, I'll get away and I'll get to go and hopefully, providing the weather is like it is in Spain now, I'm really looking forward to having a nice little relax with my own private pool in my own private villa, with my own private bit of sun is my thoughts on that. Oh, and one other thing that's super exciting that I nearly failed to tell you. So you remember I said that I'd gone and organised for some new dance dresses. I went for the fitting last month and they will be ready, and I'm collecting those on the 22nd of September. So on 22nd of September, I'm going down to the south of the country to go and pick up a new ballroom dress that's been made specifically for me, and a new Latin dress as well. So you know when it's like, yay! And it's the day before my birthday, so it's even better. Right, people. I think we got to the end of what was supposed to have been a video. It was done in a completely different way, admittedly. Completely different way. And I think it's actually took me longer to do it on a live. Well, in fact, it has. Because I said we'd only be here for about an hour and a half max. And here we are at nearly 2 hours. But I did get to answer some questions. So I do hope that I've managed to answer some questions that people had. I thank you all for your input on my disaster hot mess. I do appreciate all of your love and all of your help for that, because I was thinking that I could sit there and fudge it, but I think you've proven the point that the whole fudging thing is just not going to happen. I think I was sort of clutching at straws there, because, well, I think you have to, right? You have to have a bit of clutching at straws every once in a while. I love this. Giggled the whole way through. Thank you so much. I am really looking forward to the retreat, but for me and for Elaine, the retreats are not really, they're not like us going to like go into a retreat, because it's us that have to make sure everything's happening the way it is and organize the bits and pieces and make sure everyone's catered for. It's not that it's hard, well, say it's hard, it is hard work, but it's, I mean, it's lovely to see all the people, but there's a lot more to it. And you tend to find that when you're doing the retreats, it's all the prep work that's took place before you're going. It's, you know, it's all of that is sort of going on behind the scenes that people don't see. So there's a lot of hard work that go into sort of organising retreats, and until you do it for yourself, you don't realise how much goes into it. Anita said, sorry, but this is one of the funniest live streams ever. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Well, look, as long as I have, you know, as long as I have made people laugh, I've made myself laugh, that's for sure, because it didn't quite go according to plan even for me. But then there's nothing new there. But yeah, I've had a wonderful evening. I might not end up with a Flosstube update on the actual video channel, but I've definitely shared with you what I've got up to in August, and I've had an absolute blast. You've all made me laugh, even if some of it was at my expense. In fact, most of it was my expense, but I'm fine with that. I'm all cool with that. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day, because I'm going to be back tomorrow for the actual stitchy live, so I can actually sit here and do some stitching and chat with you. So I'm not going to hold you up any further. We've had another 2-hour stream today, so you've just got 2 lots of Teresa in one weekend. What can I say? But yeah, thank you so much. And on that note, my lovelies, I'm going to head off. I think it's time to call it. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And for those that are around tomorrow that are down for a bit of a stitchy live chat, I'll be back online tomorrow with you, 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow, for a stitch with me. So until then, my lovelies, have a lovely evening, and I will see you all very, very soon.